abulale tinakuzana tilokatana tilwane ngisona ke sifutho ke lesibekathe wasiphumta ngaso sasimemata ifutho lamhlanje wasuthenga lesifutho lesi kwaba sifutho ke lesi siphumtako emasimini sakhona ke kuphumula.
Since the dawn of time, humanity has engaged in activities that would lead to increased yields in produce for consumption and for trade. The release of waste from these activities has over time resulted in adverse impacts to human health and the environment. Following World War II, the manufacture and use of synthetic materials such as plastics, PCBs, and inorganic pesticides like DDT surged, resulting in a significant rise in pollution. These materials are not only toxic, they are non-biodegradable. They are persistent and poisonous to ourselves and the environment. The demographic known as the poison poor, a population of upward of 200 million people directly affected by toxic chemicals from industry and mining, is now in the line of fire. This burden of deaths and diseases caused by pollution is borne by low-income families who are the least equipped to deal with this problem.
My name is Kayemba Matthias, and where you are on the farm of Parents Empowering Children and Youth Uganda. And this farm was established mainly to promote good agronomical practices, ranging from soil to crop care. So we used to spray here, but after spraying, when it rains, the surface water flow would move down. And as it moves down into the swamp, we had a fish pond, and we would find all the fish have died and they are floating. Basically, before me knowing the impact of the pesticide on my life, I realized it on the aquatic life that was down.
Several least developed countries in Africa are parties to the Stockholm Convention on Persistent Organic Pollutants. While completing their national implementation plans, these countries prioritize the need for improved legislative and regulatory frameworks, increased administrative, institutional, and enforcement capacity, as well as information sharing and dissemination as an essential basis from which to manage their POPs.
Making a bill is not something easy. First, you do studies. The National Implementation Plan produced results. We talked about the inventory, we talked about this. Then we also produced, there is no regulation, there is no law. We need to regulate. So the move, particularly to include chemicals in the new bill, was informed by the studies that were undertaken during the National Implementation Plan. And those studies undertaken revealed challenges in the coordination, challenges in the capacity, challenges in the general public awareness.
Most of the countries, usually when there is that particular signing of that particular convention, they quickly move towards to the legislative framework without actually trying to see what is the situation on the ground. It is very important to understand the situation first before you can move forward into any policy or legislative framework.
The importance of integrating chemicals and waste issues is clearly evident from the discussion with the interviewees. Vulnerable communities, especially women and children, are particularly at risk and bear the brunt of the impacts and exposure to POPs released from products they use, as well as emissions from improper managed waste.
Imbere amahugurwa tutarabona amahugurwa twabaga twakishora mu bintu byatwanduza tukaba twatoragura nk'inshinge za ducokora ugasanga twakandura ariko kuba tugiye mu mahugurwa twarahuguwe batubwiye ububi bwabyo ubu dusigaye twambara amaga tukipfuka ku munwa mbese ku buryo ubungu hagize impinduka kuva tuvuye mu mahugurwa.
Labantu abatsala mabasebenzisa lemithi bangagqokuli at all emtimbeni mabefa kushisa isikhathini esiningi basebenzisa ufutha kodini kanila ngaliyashisa nemoya uyahusha bangagqokuli lutho netandleni bangafaka lutho nemakhaleni basebenzise nje ekugcineni kwempilo ufike uthi uyamlunga lomthongo lomtimba umuntu athathe man pure water gese athi ukhetha lomthi kazongena ngethi ngatimbowo temtimba.
tufuna abantu okubeera nga bakosebwa mu mimiro bafunamu obulumi n'atandika okubeera awo ng'akololakolola ne tufuna n'endwadde mu mbuto n'otandika okubeera awo ng'otandika okusinda mu lubuto mu nnuma ennyingo zitumeketa naye era ogenda mu ddwaliro bakugamba ebiragalalaga bye tukozesa bye tutasobola kwewala amangu ddala kubanga bye biriwo era bye tukozesa.
Recognizing that citizens are not aware of the risks they face or of the precautionary measures they should use, emphasis should be put on availing information on the hazards posed by these chemicals.
I've seen farmers practically actually exposing themselves to chemicals unknowingly because they didn't have an idea as to what chemicals can do to their health. In the past, there used to be chemicals called DDT, which was very effective in controlling pests, but farmers didn't know that DDT can easily kill them. We tried to teach them as to what the importance of the label, indicating that the color of the chemical label, like for instance, there's a red, yellow, blue, and green. We tried to explain that what do those colors mean, so that the farmers, when they buy the chemicals, they must be in a position to know this chemical is either class 1, class 2, class 3, or class 4. And the importance of the pictograms on those chemicals, we try to explain as to what those pictograms indicate. Like, for instance, you find there's a picture of a child trying to approach a locked cabinet. That was just something to tell the farmer that if you see such a picture or pictogram on the chemical must be kept away from children and pets.
The communities had very little information on pesticide use, on its safety, on its disposal, especially the containers that contain these pesticides. Majority of them were reused maybe in the kitchen, to store in salt or other commodities of household nature. And so they didn't know the dangers or the toxicity, the extent of toxicity of these chemicals.
It will be critical for governments to mainstream chemical management into the national planning process to ensure sustainable financing. Further sustained engagement with the private sector is clearly necessary so as to address circular economic approaches and sustainable consumption and production in practice.
These things goes with mindset change, and then you have to start with the users. And we know our users, as you put it clear, you have a normal, ordinary farmer that is used to use these chemicals. So you have to engage him or her to train, to educate him. What are the impacts? Of course, from him or her as a user, but also for those who will be buying his or her crops. So it's a process, because you bring this, tomorrow there's another technology with the hidden chemical contents of the same. So you need to keep on researching and looking for the alternative of these new technologies and try to promote the green technology that could eliminate and prevent the use of these bad and dangerous chemicals.
High-level support for ministries and development partners is crucial. The bar must be raised to ensure support for regional and national implementation for effective and efficient management of toxic chemicals.
Public awareness is a very key factor in terms of conscientizing people about the problems caused by chemicals. So if you can start from there, then at least people can be aware. So it means everybody has a role to play in terms of making sure that even industry itself has to make sure that the people are aware as to what is happening within the industry, so that people can be aware that how dangerous these things can be.
We need to protect our communities, but no country can realize a detoxified future on its own. Governments, civil society, and the private sector must work together to deliver on POPs and wider chemical and waste management matters.
Bomake bekani kahle imithi ningabeki kabi bantwana batawudla siyabonga.
Thank you very much.
Ngiyabonga.